Alex, tell me about your channel. Like, what's the name of it, and what inspired you to create it?
All right. So my channel is AlexsJourney250. I started back in, I believe, in 2013. I hit my highest weight I've ever been, which was 420 pounds. And I finally said enough was enough. I have to do something about it. So, I was trying the whole gym thing. I've been in the gym my whole life from high school until whenever. And I never really produced the weight loss results that I wanted. It would go good for about, a month or two. I get off track, and then next thing you know, 6 months goes by and I haven't been in the gym. So I felt that my wife was helping me stay motivated to a certain point, but it wasn't really giving me that extra push. So I said, well, I want to make a YouTube channel. I researched it. There's some other people doing weight loss journeys and everything else. Maybe that'll help me, proceed in mind and get me more motivated to do the stuff. So I started it, and then I think there was about 2 years span where I just didn't post anything. And now I'm back pretty regularly now, not as regular as I want to be, but I'm getting there with more content and stuff.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
the 250, why 250? What made you come up with that name or that number for yourself?
I don't really know. That's a good question. I think back then I was like, okay, I'm 420, 250 will look good. I'm 6'7". I don't want to look like a twig, considering me being in law enforcement and everything. So I wanted to still have a size on me. So I figured I would get down, to a good weight, 250-ish, and then just bulk and then look good. Mm-hmm. So that was my whole idea around it originally.
Mm-hmm. I really like that's neat. I didn't know that that's why you started your channel, is like for the motivation for yourself. So many people start a channel because they want to like put information out there. And I feel like mine has been a little bit of both. I find that I tend to put out the same message when I'm working with my one-on-one clients. So originally I just wanted a platform that I could put this recording, because I was like, well, if they're benefiting from it, somebody else should be. But also too, like, it holds me accountable. Like when we were doing the carb cycling or the sugar detox in our community group, yep. Because I knew I wanted to document it for you guys in the community as well as in YouTube. Like I definitely stuck with it way better because of that, like, accountability, for that aspect. So that's really cool. So
absolutely.
If you can think back to like when you originally either started the channel or really just when you were at your lowest point in your health, could you share a little bit about like what was that like for you, like emotionally or physically, or like what were the pain points for you?
It was tough. We have 3 kids. It's hard trying to do schedules. At that point in time, my little boy was only 1.5, 2 years old. So, we didn't really have a steady babysitter at that point. It was hard to take him to the gym or do anything else like that. Right around then is when I really started my law enforcement career, and I started up a training school. So there was a lot of stuff going on in the background in my business and everything else that I'm doing now. And it was tough. I wasn't financially set the way I am now. We were struggling. I was working 2 and 3 jobs at a time. So, I'd say I was a workaholic, but, it's tough. So,
so did that all of that stress and overwhelm translate into the weight gain or where you were at?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I was working a lot of third shifts. It was really bad. It was, I was going from third shift. Well, I still do it now to an extent, but I was going from third shift to day shift. And then I was trying to sleep for a couple hours when the baby was up, and, my wife was working full time the whole time. So I was basically like a stay-at-home dad when I was not working. So, I still had all the adult responsibilities of taking care of a child and everything else at that point. So,
yeah. And what shifted for you when you finally got that spark, again, the motivation to start the channel and really, to work on getting to that goal? What I mean, was there anything that you could say, this was my aha moment or the turning point, or?
I would say the first aha moment back then was when I got on the scale and it was 420 pounds. I hadn't weighed myself for at least a year and a half. And then finally I got on the scale and I was like, wow, oh my gosh, I can't even believe those numbers. I was always a big guy. In high school, I was like a twig. So I really blew up after high school. But recently my aha moment was I had looked into going to bariatric surgery and stuff, and going through a lot of doctor's appointments. It really just stuck to me that there was a problem. I had to get put on a CPAP machine and all this other stuff. So I just really saw that I felt like my health was deteriorating, and that's why now I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious of your thought process. You were considering bariatric surgery before.
I was considering bariatric surgery, yes.
Okay. And then it was going through the process that it was kind of your wake up call, correct?
Yeah, no, definitely, because you have to meet with psychologists. Oh my gosh, there's a whole list of people. Respiratory people, I had to go get sleep studies done. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And every test result was just not looking where I thought I should be.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I thought I was good. And, now the doctor's coming back telling me that, now you need to be put on blood pressure medicine. And then, a whole bunch of other stuff I had to do. That was just like, I'm 35 now. I don't want to be taking pills for the rest of my life. I can barely remember taking them now as it is. So I'm like, I just got to get into better shape before I got to be taking these pills all my whole life.
Yeah. So when you left that office, what were you thinking? Like, what was your resolve in that?
I think the doctor ended up saying that in the first appointment I was doing a breathing test, and she said that, I think she said 40% of my lungs were being crushed by visceral fat. And that was kind of like a wake up moment. And then I didn't really know what visceral fat was. She explained it to me and I'm like, wow, that's great. It's just the fat that clings on to your lungs, and, it's not so much the stuff you can see, it's stuff that's internal that we can't see, which we don't ever think about. So when I heard that, I'm just like, enough's enough. I gotta sit down. That's when I started talking more with you. I started going to the gym more, became a lot more conscious of my eating and everything else.
Yeah. Would you say, are you a visual learner or audio or reading?
No, I'm not a good reading learner. That's for sure. I hate reading. Every time I start reading, I start going to sleep. But I'm more tactile. I got to feel it, do it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome for the journey, because there's so much. I mean, when it comes to living a healthy life, and we're not just talking meal prepping and going to the gym, but it is so much involved. I mean, you have to put your body into what you're doing. It really is a lifestyle. But yet there is so much mentally and emotionally going on. And I think what people get mixed up is they think it's all that tactile stuff. Like, oh, well, I just need to go through the motions. And yeah, while I think there's a time and place for just fake it till you make it. Addressing all the internal stuff that's going on as well. And so I was just curious if you're a visual learner. I'm a visual learner. And while I do, tactile is good for me as well. Visual, like all the way. And I would imagine like having that visual of like 40% of my lungs being crushed, by
Absolutely.
that being
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
well, like, how do you not have that in your head the rest of the day or the rest of the week, kind of situation.
Right. Definitely.
So, yeah.
The biggest thing that I had was I didn't realize how addicted to food I was. I started getting some self-help books. I mean, they were kind of helping. I read a couple pages here and there. I couldn't really just sit down and just devote it to reading it. But, then I finally realized that I am addicted to food. I made a little food journal about like the triggers, for a day. I'd write down what my triggers were and why I was feeling that way. So once I got over the fact that I was addicted to food, then it became a lot easier to kind of navigate through and see what I need to do when those things get triggered. What can I do? What can I do to counteract that?
Yeah. Was that kind of liberating to like acknowledge that you were addicted to food, or was it embarrassing, or like how did you feel about that?
I'm gonna say it's a little bit of both. It's really tough because I see people in their journeys, and in 90 days they're losing, 60 pounds. In a year they're losing 150 pounds, and you sit there and you look at yourself and you're like, I've had my channel now for since 2013, so it's like I'm still up there in the weight. So yeah, it's really tough to get around that it's your personal journey. I can look at everyone else's thing, and no one's is going to be alike. Their motivation, their drive, whatever it is. Now that I think that I've recognized that I am addicted to food, then I think that's just another extra step for me to get closer to my goal weight. But yeah, I was embarrassed, especially when you go on YouTube and you say, hey, I'm addicted to food. You know what I mean? It's like you're basically putting out there for everyone to know that, I like eating. So yeah, I was a little embarrassed, but I was like, you know what? It is what it is. It's my first step to get past. If I don't admit it, then I'm just going to hide it and continue to do the bad things that I've been doing, for my 35 years basically of life. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I think, it is what it is, like you said. And, I know for myself, I wouldn't say I was addicted to food, but sugar. I was very addicted to sugar. And I never really got over 40 or 50 pounds overweight, which is still a lot and I'm a female,
right,
around 5'8" or 5'9". So 40 to 50, I would say 45 pounds, when I was not fit, because again, we have to acknowledge the fact. And that's why I was curious with the 250 for yourself. Like, it depends on your body structure and muscle and all of that stuff. But yeah, for me, carrying an extra 40, 45 pounds on me, was a lot. I wasn't that far out of shape, for too long, but even to just fluctuate, even just 10 pounds for me, I think everybody has a level that they, decide, like, this is my, like, I don't want to go past this. And before I would weigh 40 pounds. And then during my, my health journey's been going on, probably longer than 8 years, maybe. And then I would fluctuate 20 pounds and then 10 pounds. And I'm probably at the point now where I fluctuate like 2 to 5 pounds, And so it's just really interesting, like to hear from people, like what their aha moment was. And like you said, like we all have our own journey. Mine's been completely different from yours. And yet there's a lot of similarities that we can relate on, like the addiction. And I know that was an aha moment for me as well, was just saying, and it's like, we're not sitting here having like an AA meeting, like kind of situation. Like we're just acknowledging, like, this is what happens to people is most people are living in overwhelming stress. And you said that was what it boiled down to, was, the kids were young and work and this and that. It all could be classified as overwhelming stress, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Most people are living in that. And, they need something to make them feel good. And so if they're not turning to food or sugar, it's going to be alcohol. And it doesn't even have to be like, you don't have to be a full-blown alcoholic, but if you can't get through a single night without a glass of wine to unwind in the evening, I would say that that's a vice for you. And to me, whether it's a candy bar or a glass of wine, they're no different to me, and people use shopping and they use marijuana. There's so many different things that people use as a vice to soothe them, calm them down. And I'll be honest, even like the people that are doing fitness competitions, I've done 3, a lot of them, that's their vice. It's kind of like in the opposite, or some people are like eating,
work out crazy.
They're like pouring their stress into the gym. And so I think the answer is everything in moderation. You can have a little wine, you can have a little chocolate, you can have a little French fries, you can have, I shouldn't say a little bit amount at the gym, a fair amount of the gym, but anytime that it goes pure obsession, I know for me, saying the word obsession, I know I was an addict because I would sit there, and if they like delivered dessert to my table, I couldn't focus on what you were talking about anymore, because all I was thinking in the back of my head was, I can't wait to crack open that piece of whatever. So for you, Alex, where you may be there right now, I don't know, or it may have been last.
I'd like to say I am.
What's that?
I'd like to say I am, but I'm not. I'm not completely there now, just because of holidays, working, and everything else. But I'm not completely off track either. I went to the gym 3 times last week. For some reason in my head, I feel like if I don't get to the gym every single day, I'm losing. Like, I'm not I don't know. I don't know. It's just something in my mind that I gotta get over, if I don't make it, 5-6 days a week, I'm just not doing it. My head's not in it. And yeah, I overexceed. I try to, set these bars high, but I can't achieve that. I know I can't achieve that with my schedule and everything, but for some reason, my mind still thinks that it needs to just go all out. And if you're all in it or you're not in it at all. So
if you know that, why are you, like, if you know that that's not serving you, why are you still holding on to that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I've tried, there's some days I didn't have time, especially when I was like really in it. I just didn't have time. I would just go and get like 25 minutes in, just so I could say, yeah, I went to the gym today. I did something. When you're working a lot, you just want to come home and kind of veg out at the end of the day. Like your mind's exhausted, your body's tired, everything else. But I've really come to the fact of that if I can just get to the gym, that's like the biggest hurdle right there, just getting to the gym. You never want to go to the gym. You're there and you're like, this sucks. maybe I'll just do 25 minutes. And then afterwards, you feel great. Like you feel like you're on a high after you're done. And you're like, oh, I'm glad I went to the gym now. So it's just the hurdle of just getting to the gym. That's my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, firstly, I want to acknowledge the fact that you said you aren't completely off the wagon. And although you're not at your best place because of the holidays right now, going through the holidays as we are, you're still probably a lot better than you were even last year.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like how you said, like you always hit that one spot that you never want to go to again. So, even though I weighed 420 pounds back in 2013, I've never went over that 400-pound mark. That was one thing I told myself. Whatever I do, I will not hit that 400-pound mark. And luckily, I haven't since. But yeah, it's tough, And then you get to the whole thing of that, every morning you step on the scale. I hate that. I do it, but I'm like, why am I stepping on the scale if I know I didn't do anything yesterday to change it, or stuff like that too.
Well, then
is another hurdle. Because it's there on the ground. My wife uses it every morning. It's just there. It's just part of my routine. I get out of the shower, I go on the scale. Whatever happens. But yeah, it's just part of the stuff that I need to change and kind of get rid of.
Yeah.
All those.
I'm going to take this in a different direction because you're saying a lot of things that I'm hearing. And I think this will relate, is that you're working very hard, and that's very commendable, but it feels like you're like climbing yourself out of like the slippery slope. You're saying, if I can just get to the gym, nobody wants to go. I'm tired after work, but once you get there, you get going and then you feel good afterwards. I enjoy going to the gym. I look forward to going to the gym. It's not even a compromise in my schedule. Like if there's one thing that I do consistently in my life, it's going to the gym. Do you see like you and I can go to the gym 5 days a week and it looks the same on the outside, but on the inside, it's completely different. Now, I wasn't always there. I can promise you that. And I'm not always there. Sometimes that wanes. Okay. So there are ups and downs in our motivation and all of that. But that really goes back to the mindset. So you don't like getting on the scale, but you're doing it anyways. You don't like going to the gym, but you're doing it anyways. And again, that's super commendable. But I think where this can become a really, not just doable, but enjoyable, right? That's one of my slogans. Not just doable, but enjoyable, is to feel differently about it, is to get on the scale and be excited to get on the scale. Here's the thing. I don't get on the scale regularly. I used to do that.
Right.
I think that you, Alex, are stuck in some of the dogma of dieting here. Like getting on the scale every day, your doctor's going to tell you to get on the scale every day so that when you see it goes over 5 pounds, you do something about it. If getting on the scale every day makes you feel bad, don't do it. Because ultimately it comes down to your feelings. Our actions are dictated by our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions, right? Not information, right? Because like, I mean, again, it's so like you can tell a cigarette smoker that it's going to give you lung cancer and show them all the photos and stuff like that. Now they might have their aha moment like you did, but like not. It's not the information that's going to make them change. But it's your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions. That's what dictates our actions. This is anything in life. So a lot of times when people say, I do something, and I ask them, well, why? And they say, I don't know, right? Because there's no logic behind it. They don't know logic behind it. But there's a thought, there's a feeling, there's an emotion to it. And so something that you can do for yourself is catch yourself when you're not feeling good about one of these situations to say, well, why not? I know why you don't like to step on the scale every morning is because you're afraid you're going to be disappointed. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So is that, if you're starting your day out feeling like begrudging and like afraid to be disappointed, how do you think the rest of your day is going to go?
All right. Yeah. You set the tone for the day. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So my challenge to you is don't step on the scale for give yourself like a 2-week period where you just don't step on the scale. You've had some ups and downs. I remember when we first really started to connect, you were kind of at a low point, I guess, as far as your motivation is concerned. I don't know in your mouth, but, and within 24 hours, I mean, I think you texted me the next day and you were like, already meal prepping and making your plans for the gym, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know that was a while ago, but do you remember what clicked for you? What changed in that conversation together?
And I remember you, what did you ask me? You said, well, why did you fall off track or whatever it was? And I just couldn't give you an answer. And then, finally after our conversation, my mind was just like, it was racing like 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, it was just, all these thoughts were going, and I went home, I just sat down and I just started thinking about it. And yeah, like I told you, or in my video, I said that, I didn't really have an answer because, I wasn't really putting the motivation into making an answer. Mm-hmm. So, I just got comfortable. I got in that little bit of comfy area, and I just didn't want to get out of it, I guess, until you challenge me to, you need to set a date, make sure it's like an appointment that you can't miss and stuff like that, and tell me when you're going to get back to the gym, and I'm like, I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to go back tomorrow and just start it. And that's when I went on that 30-something day stretch. Yep. You
became a lifer. You joined our community. Have you ever found yourself thinking that you were afraid of failing? And let me elaborate on that before you answer. So in a situation such as wanting to go to the gym, do you ever find yourself maybe avoiding a healthy habit or pushing yourself outside that comfort zone because you're I don't even want to succeed and then end up back where I am again, kind of thing? Does that make sense?
Well, that's happened. Absolutely. There have been times where, I had it in my mind that I was driving to the gym. I got in the car, started driving to the gym, and I'm 2 minutes away, and I'm just like, I want to stop at Burger King, or, I want to, something triggers in my mind. And then, you end up going to the other thing instead of the gym. There's been times though when I didn't even want to go to, I wasn't even going to the gym. And all of a sudden I'm like, well, I got gym clothes on. Let's just go to the gym now. So it's I don't know. It's like two evils. There's little Alex's on my shoulder. One's like, no, don't do this, do that. So it's a struggle. It really is. And when I start getting back into the gym, I have plantar fasciitis. I got other stuff that's going on that I'm just I'm so sore and it hurts, but I keep going. And then I don't go for a little bit because it hurts too much. And then that's when I start getting off track again.
What are your goals for 2018? What are we going to see on your channel?
Oh man, 2018. It's funny to say that. We just ordered those planners, those Life Ignited planners.
Yeah.
And I've been working 12-hour shifts this whole week. So I've sat down, started making some goals. I'm going to get back on isogenics. Me and my wife are going to both do it this time.
Good.
So we're both going to do it. We're going to be intermittent fasting. My plan is to get my channel up and running a lot more than what I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. Just trying to put good content out there. I want to just not motivate me to keep working out and doing healthy stuff. I want to start motivating other people to do it as well. I have some followers from Ireland and all over the United States that kind of email me every so often and be like, hey, what have you been up to? So I just want to keep pushing it out there, and hopefully eventually just my channel will just blow up and be successful.